Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me today. And tomorrow we will have eclipse of the Sun, Moon, and Mercury. So Sun, Moon, and Mercury will be sitting in a Taurus sign in conjunction with Rahu. Sun and Moon will be in the same degree, and Mercury will be very close to the Sun. So what does it mean for us astrologically? First of all, Sun represents the ego, our character, our body, our ability to influence other people, our ability to be responsible. And Moon represents relationships. It represents the mind, it represents the mother, and our emotional stability. So when Sun and Moon are in that same degree, which means they're very close to each other, it means that our emotions, our ability to communicate, our relationships with other people will be very much influenced by our ego, which means that we may feel strong desires towards influencing other people. We may feel very much like it means that the ego is going into the mind, and the mind may become disturbed because of this. We may feel a lot of like emotional disbalance, disturbance, maybe lack of sleep. So it is very much recommended for tomorrow during the eclipse to be patient, to be very accurate in your communications with other people, to pay more attention towards your own emotional stability, and make sure that in your relationships you kind of take into account the other person's position. Okay, now with Mercury is sitting very close to the Sun, and it's in a retrograde position, meaning that Mercury, which represents friends, communications, paperwork, deals with money, commerce, may give a little bit of a delay, and there is an opportunity for mistake over there. But being very much close to the Moon and to the Sun, it may also give a big desire, to communicate, to fasten the things, to make them faster. So be accurate about those things. It's better not to make any critical decisions, any important decisions during that time, during the eclipse time. Why? Because again, the potential for the mistake is high, and in the relation, it may influence the relationships in a negative way. Now, conjunction of Rahu and the Sun with the Moon can give really like strong, uncontrollable desires coming from the ego or from the mind. Therefore, be aware of this. The best way to neutralize them is not to go into the Sun. So the eclipse will start at about 6 a.m. and it's recommended that 12 hours before the eclipse and 12 hours after the eclipse, the influence is very strong. So therefore, it's very much recommended that you don't stay into the Sun, that you dedicate that time to the meditation, to the purification of the mind. You may take a bath, a shower, read the wisdom books, do the mantras, chant the mantras for Sun, for Moon. The best recommended mantra is the Maha Mantra, which neutralizes the influences, which reconnects the soul with the universal source of happiness and energy, and universal energy, which harmonizes the energies on the universal level. And the Maha Mantra is the mantra which which actually have the power over all planets. It harmonizes all of the planets. Repeating the mantra is recommended in general as the practice for mind purification, for stabilizing the emotional condition, for connecting yourself with the universal energy. But during the eclipse time, it's very, very beneficial, and it is very effective. Now, I will tell you I will give recommendation for each sign of the horoscope, and for tomorrow. So what will be the astrological recommendations for each sign of the horoscope? First of all, we will start with Aries. And speaking about the signs of the horoscope, we mean ascending signs and moon signs. If you don't know how to calculate your ascending sign or moon sign, please let me know, and I will be happy to help you with that. Now, we will start with Aries. For Aries, the second house of the horoscope will become active. Why? Because Mercury, Moon, Sun, and Rahu will be sitting in the second house of the horoscope. What will that mean? It will mean that it's a very good time to strengthen the relationships with your family members, to be more creative. There may be a desire to speak more, to communicate more. Therefore, see that your communication is beneficial for yourself and others. There will be maybe more like focus on the financial part, and like for Rahu and Sun sitting in the second sign of the horoscope, it may give some doubts or some disturbance. So for that time, try not to think about that too much. Focus more on self-realization, focus more on the things related to the family, on your health, on your digestive system, because second house also represents the food that we eat and what we speak, right? So that will be the recommendation for Aries. And in the relationships, stay stable, stay focused. By the time the eclipse is over, you will get more clarity about the finance. Don't make any critical decisions. If you're thinking of buying or selling something, it's not a good time to make a decision unless you planned it beforehand. Okay, now we will speak about Taurus. So for Taurus, the conjunction of all of the planets will be sitting in the first house of the horoscope, and first house of the horoscope is responsible for health, for our ability to realize ourselves, to apply our talents. Therefore, tomorrow is a very good day for Taurus to think about their self-realization, the best qualities, what they would like to develop, make a self-development plan, put some goals, and do some meditative practices, do some purificatory like practices for the body, some practices that will improve the health, and that will be very beneficial for tomorrow. Now, for Gemini, the conjunction will be in the 12th house of the horoscope, and the 12th house of the horoscope is responsible for losses, for charity, for our secret kind of things, and for spiritual practices. Therefore, if we don't pay enough attention to the 12th house of the horoscope during our lifetime, the house of the horoscope becomes inactive, which means when the planetary transits come to that house, right, we may experience sudden losses, sudden disturbances. Therefore, it's very much recommended that during our lifetime we do some charitable practices, but charity should be done towards spiritual organizations. Why? Because 12th house of the horoscope is the spiritual house. We have to learn how to share things, how to develop ourselves spiritually. Therefore, for Gemini, tomorrow will be a good time. If you haven't started your spiritual practices, start them. Start reading a Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's one of the recommended Vedic scriptures, which gives the knowledge about the soul, the relationships with the nature, with the universe, about the laws of karma, and it gives the information on how to build the relationships, how the whole universe functions, what kind of energies rule the universe, and how to be in harmony with yourself and others. And it's very important, first of all, to understand yourself for spiritual practice. Why? Because we're the spirit souls. And secondly, for that understanding, understand how to be in connection with others, because they are also parts and parcels of that universal energy. Okay, now therefore for Geminis, it's very recommended tomorrow during the eclipse time to do spiritual practices, to do some charity towards spiritual organizations, and to give yourself some time to be by yourself, because 12th house is the house of being by yourself, is the house of recognizing yourself on a spiritual level. Okay, now for Cancer, the active 11th house of the horoscope will become active tomorrow. Why? Because the conjunction will be sitting in the 11th house of the horoscope, and the 11th house of the horoscope is responsible for friendship, for personal growth. So tomorrow is a good time to strengthen your relationships with your friends. Make something beneficial for your friends. Do something for yourself which will promote your personal growth and development. The 11th house of the horoscope also represents the elders. Therefore, give some respect to elders. So that will be good, like, recommendations for Cancer. Now for Leos, the 10th house of the horoscope will become active, and the 10th house of the horoscope is responsible for our career, for our influence on people, for our ability to understand our path in life. So tomorrow for Leos, it's very important to do something extraordinary at their job, something that will promote them. Also, it's very nice to help others in their self-realization, in finding their own way, as well as help yourself if you are in a doubt or if you are in the process of searching. So put yourself on that path and start looking. So tomorrow will be a very good day, and the planets will be helping you with that. Now, for Virgos, 9th house of the horoscope will become very active, and 9th house of the horoscope represents our father, our spiritual development, our education, and morale. For Virgos, it's very important tomorrow to be on the good morale level. If you have some unresolved issues with your father, please work on them. And if you haven't started your spiritual practices yet, tomorrow is a very good day to start them, because the 9th house of the horoscope is also a house of luck. And by saying that it's spiritual house, it means that when we act within that house, the 9th house of the horoscope, first of all, we increase the amount of luck we're going to have in life. And secondly, with that luck and with that energy, like strong energy of the 9th house of the horoscope, we may see our goals really well. Okay, so it's very much recommended for Virgos tomorrow to work on that house, to strengthen your relationships with your father, and to start your spiritual activity. And within the Vedic tradition, we recommend reading Bhagavad Gita as it is. We recommend repeating the Maha mantra. Maha means big, mantra purification. So it's the biggest, the most efficient mantra for the mind purification. And that will be a good start for you. And if you have any questions on how to continue on that path, please check with me. Send me a message and I will be happy to help you with that. Now for Libras, the 8th house of the horoscope will become active, and the 8th house of the horoscope is responsible for transformations, for spiritual realizations, for changes in life. Therefore, something secret may become open tomorrow. Something which you were looking for may become available to you. Something that you were, like, some answers might be received tomorrow. And the house also being a house of the transformation, sometimes the transformation comes in the so the transformation may come in the form of a stress, in the form of ups and downs, right? Therefore, if you engage that house as a house of spirituality, then you might not get the transformation through the stress. Therefore, it's very much recommended by astrologers and by the Vedas in general that those who have 8th house active in their horoscope, and tomorrow it will be for Libras, do spiritual practices, start doing them seriously, and start doing yoga, start doing meditations, refrain from activities that are harmful for the mind, for the body, and for the relationships. So these are the recommendations for Libras. Now for Scorpios, The conjunction will be sitting in the 7th house of the horoscope, and the 7th house of the horoscope is responsible for relationships. So in that case, Scorpios have to be very careful with their relationships, because Rahu and Sun sitting in the 7th house of the horoscope can create a lot of different troubles with both partner and other people. Please be patient, pay attention to yourself and the partner, see what you say, and maybe take some time and postpone some crucial conversations. Basically, dedicate that time for self-realization and understanding of your partner and of yourself, and then act when the planetary position is more beneficial for that. But here is the main focus, is to take care of the relationships, take care of your health and yourself. And another thing, be in a good relationships with yourself. Now we are going to Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, right? So for the Capricorns, the 5th house of the horoscope will become active, and the 5th house of the horoscope, it's also the house of spirituality, it's the house of kids, it's the house of talents and hobbies. So tomorrow is a good time for Capricorns to look after their talents, to see where they would like to develop themselves better, what kind of skills they would like to develop, and to pay more attention to their kids. Okay, now for Aquarius, the 4th house of the horoscope will become active, and 4th house of the horoscope is responsible for our psychology, our emotions, our relationships with the mother. And it is recommended to make the relationships with mother more just better them, okay? Better the relationships with your mother. If there are again any unresolved issues or situations, try to work on them in a good way. Work on your own psychological condition. If there are any old issues such as disturbances or emotional disbalances or old depressions, make a plan on how you can improve your emotional health. This house also represents real estate, so there might be some questions or maybe some situations related to that. So be careful, because Mercury in the retrograde is sitting here, and if it comes to making decision on that day regarding your real estate, just wait until that day is over and make a decision when the planetary position will be more beneficial for making such important decisions. And finally, we're gonna speak about Pisces. And for Pisces, 3rd house of the horoscope will be active, and third house of the horoscope represents younger brothers and sisters, our abilities, short distance travelings, our communications, and things that we do with our hands. So for Pisces, it is very nice to spend that day with their young brothers and sisters, or make their relationships more comfortable, more interesting. Bring some life into the relationships. Do something with your hands. Communicate some wisdom. Enlighten other people. Do something that you've been postponing, such as some art or some design, something related. You will activate the 3rd house of the horoscope in a positive way, and the planets will be helping you in that case. So that was the description of my recommendations for tomorrow, for the period of Sun, Moon, and Mercury eclipse, which will start about 6 a.m. And again, the recommendations are not to spend that time outside. Don't try to look at the sun during the day too much, because the energy will not be beneficial. And just follow the recommendations, see how they are affecting your life, and share your realizations after that under this video. It will be interesting for everybody to see and to share different ideas and to read each other's realizations, because by sharing enlightening experiences we help each other on our path of growth and self-realization as well. I wish you a wonderful day, and if you liked my video, please give me your likes, share it with your friends, and I will be looking forward to seeing you in my future videos. All the best to you.